Correct. I don't think we want to put anything back.
Nope.
Um, a little bit awkward here because ideally we would have been able to do everything we wanted. Unfortunately, we cannot. This is six. We go to three, and then we can. Actually, we still can.
Well, no, this is 5.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, we go to two after the Trinisphere, right? And
Right.
actually, no. If we go to two, that doesn't work.
It would work if we draw land that isn't Bojuka Bog, but that would be asking the deck to do something for us right now.
Right, and the deck has not been cooperating. So I think what we do here is we got to take the Chandra off the board. That's a given. Oops, not everybody. Hello, hello, Romario.
It's Mario.
We can bog them now, and then we'll pass.
I'm in his normal seat tonight. I understand.
I know. So we are 2-1, but I will not blame I will not blame Testacular. It was my own fault we punted against the 8 cast. Also, everything balances. I'm a true believer. Everything balances out, and I have been beating up on too many 8 cast players. So that is punishment for me. Punishing them too much, so to speak.
No matchup is truly like un or what's the best word for this? No,
Unlosable.
no matchup is truly perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, we F6 to the first turn, so that was definitely on me. Like a couple of blunders on that behalf. Right, we're getting. I don't know if you watch basketball or not, Kieran, but that was a heat check, right?
I haven't kept up with like current basketball, but I've been in and out over the years, so I dabble. I dabble.
There you go, Mike. It was a heat check. So the big question I think in this matchup is usually Archon or Progenitus. Fireflux Squad to me suggests that they're on the creature version. Well, we saw two Chandras, so that's kind of confusing. I feel like against this version, Progenitus is better.
Yeah, I would board in Progenitus for this version as well.
And I think we keep the one glimpse over the Arasta, which is like a million mana. Actually, I think even the Bog as extra land is probably better than the glimpse.
Yeah, it's not gonna get us any like actual game advantage, but at least it's I don't know, it's a land. It makes me
Like the general game plan, especially post board, is you just try to ride your way to Progenitus. Um, I
this
don't.
hand's looking a little light.
I feel like this is the type of hand I would keep though, because if we draw a land, it's like not that bad, and we have two
That's true.
draws. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep.
Opponent's mulling to 6 anyway. This is probably fine.
I was thinking maybe they had turn one chalice. Right.
I'm surprised that the chat box is still empty. This isn't the kind of treatment I get.
That is a great observation. So what Kieran is referencing is our opponent has not had extracurricular language, so to speak, yet. I think the line here is to ramp into
Yeah.
protected ramp, if that makes sense.
Yes. I'm confused as to why our opponent hasn't done anything yet, and I'm scared.
Oh my god, it might
Six
be
mana
six drop
Chandra?
Chandra.
No, please don't do it, opponent.
Okay, that's not the end of the world.
Yeah, still not my favorite thing to see.
Yeah, it's like not very easy for us to beat this card. I think the line here, believe it or not, is to bring back the Birch Lord.
I agree, decent. Sheesh. It is ridiculous that we have to pay the same amount for a virtual carpet of flowers versus the real thing.
So here, I guess I do that. We are getting punished now for no land draws, but I don't know if we would beat a Fury anyways. This card is like one of the most effective cards against us at the moment. Sure.
I'm about to register for Fury this weekend at a local 1K.
Yeah, this card is like not beatable, especially when they're on their play. And I think we might have just died. Yeah, the double strike is the problem too, right? Like it's just so much. It's such a fast clock too. So the good thing is we have game three. Likely we were gonna lose this regardless. They had what, turn three Fury? Yeah, it was turn. So in all likelihood, we. There you go. We would have lost anyways. I didn't even, I just clicked through that, but oops, we can't see what our next card is. Not that it would have mattered. Let's see. I
Look,
think I'm like debating about the snuff out, but probably not.
I don't like Snuff Out because of like the time or like the clock that their creatures put us under. I don't know. It
It's
seems
fast,
like
right?
paying for life
Also, the
a pretty
awkwardness
large
is they do leave in
liability.
Blood Moon.
Yeah, true. I mean, like if we get Blood Moon, it's just like a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah. And also, yeah, I was gonna get to it, but
Especially,
Decent already mentioned it. It's very awkward when they have three ball as well. All right.
take Progenitus.
I mean, at least Progenitus pitches to two of our cards here.
That's what I'm saying.
Actually, I should have just. Well, actually, it's not actually not bad.
I actually like having the second forest as insurance in case they were like, I'm gonna try to turn one Blood Moon you know, that's just
Don't underestimate Chalice players and their ability to try to cheese a game. In general, I don't like Thoughtseize against these matches. I found it backfires more often than not.
okay, so we're just going for the Rabble Master beatdown plan, huh? I guess we're gonna have endurance for that next turn?
Yes, while keeping up like activation. Actually, I take that back. I think um yeah, I think well they could Fury us next turn, but even if they do, I think that's probably okay. If they actually we could even force a vigor their thing at the moment. I'm like tempted to do that
Okay,
as well.
so man, this is tough. There's so many ways we could take this.
I think the line is endurance.
Yeah, I think you're correct as well. Like, if they have Fury here, that'll be a bit of a nightmare. Are you still thinking about Vigoring and upkeep here, or nah?
It could just steal a game. I think we do actually.
Let's do it! Get out of here!
There's a good chance it just wins the game. Like
Come on, come on. You don't have another mana.
what did they do on their turn? One. They led with the Ancient Tomb in Mox. I mean, we could have Vigored there, but I don't think that's correct.
No, I think I like this. Okay, so they did have that, but we get to flash in endurance, I guess. At least the Fury's not gonna be a permanent part of the table.
Do we cycle our creatures? Probably not. There's no way we're putting the
Nah,
Fury back in their deck, though.
no, absolutely not. Okay, they did have another red source, but I don't know. I guess Fury was probably like their best action. We have the two basic forests still. We could play like most spells in our deck.
Part of me regrets now playing the Force of Vigor.
Because of the lack of visionary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if
It
there's
was a
time to
greedy
experiment,
line.
this would be the time. So now it's like a lesson learned, I think.
This Rabble Master is just like having to stay at bay though, which I like a lot. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
This
for
is
sure.
fine for the moment. That Bone Crusher is going to be a real problem though.
Yeah, I think this game probably plays differently if we kept the Visionary. But I think it's better to learn it here, right?
Yo, I like Mike's take. We are secretly feeding the Crystal right now. That's the plan.
But
Wait, didn't we board out Grist?
do we?
Or was that a different matchup? That
No,
was
no,
a
no. We
different
kept it in. We kept
matchup.
it
Okay.
in. There is merit for boarding it out, though.
Alright, now we're a cradle away from being in total business.
We are now halfway officially to Progenitus. Cradle, cradle. Not quite. That's actually a pretty good draw, though, on this board state. Now we can actually keep the Bone Crusher at bay.
That's true.
Yeah, there you go. DC had it in chat as well. And all it takes now is a Cradle top deck. Oh my god.
Please, opponent, stop it. You need to type and tell them how lucky they are.
Oh, I hate this matchup.
What are you talking about? Fury is like a really fun card to play against and not irritating at all.
Okay, so I think the verdict is in. We do not play Force of Vigor. We're gonna be,
Yeah.
a prisoner of the moment, right?
Hey, you know what? We're here to make mistakes together because it's fun and people are entertained by our sweet losses.
So if nothing else, this tells me this card is not doesn't even help the matchup. At least maybe it's the version they're playing. I don't know. Like I don't think the one that
Well,
the
they didn't play like Blood Moon though, or Chalice, or anything that like we would normally care about.
we're just dead actually. We are dead on board. But the good thing is that tells me I probably don't want Force of Vigor anymore. Like that's the problem with this matchup, right? Like sometimes they just have a different hand, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, Force of Vigor is dead. Definitely a big percentage of the time there. It seems like.
So there goes our promising start, right? We played the two Force of Vigor decks, and we lost both of them.
All right. Well, I mean that's just science done. That means Force of Vigor is not going to be in the board, right? Right.
Yeah, Decent mentioned it right. Like it's really the issue with sorry, the issue with the Moon Stompy matchup is kind of the same issue with the Lands matchup. You can play the cards that hate them, but it only hates like half their deck. And if they have the wrong half when you draw it, or opposite, right? If they have it when you don't have it, it still doesn't do anything. Yes, I'm waiting to punish Delver for sure. We have not run into Delver yet, but
That would be. I was about to say I would love a blue-red Delver matchup right about now.
I
Maybe
know,
seal
right?
off big.
So the other thing is like when in doubt, Storm players may want to close their ears right now, or Graveyard players. Whenever I don't know what to do with a sideboard card, I just think I'll just add another Leyline, or I'll add another Mind Break Trap. So maybe that we'll do that. Definitely Leyline before. If I just had nothing to do, I just put in more Leylines.
I don't mind the idea of like going up on Leyline right now since we're actually down to 3 endurance these days.
For sure. Thank you for the follow, Adam. So our once promising start is now very average. Sanctity. Oh, that is a card I've always wanted to play. By the way, RSN Ryan. That is a card I've always wanted to play. I've never actually registered a Leyline Sanctity, but
Yo, let's just play Leyline of Abundance and all the Llanowar Elves.
you know what's crazy to me? That Leyline Abundance is banned in Pioneer. For sure. Thank
Oh
you, Adam. Appreciate it.
no!
No, no, this is good. This is good. I actually want to play against Exploration.
So you can test Force of Vigor again?
Both. I actually want to kind of see if we need it or not, right? Like with the previous list I sent you, we were a little bit soft to what is it called? We were a little bit soft to lands, at least in theory. But I guess we find out for sure now, right? If that's the case or not. This is mulch. Yeah, for sure. I think here we take the visionary. But Sage is not gonna be there in time, so to speak. Well, actually,
I
no, they
do.
have Mox Diamond, so it can't be mulch. Adam. Maybe we have to hit. Yeah, I think we might have to hit the exploration. Well, because a loam is going on, right? So let's do that. And yeah, so for those who are not familiar, the mulch version does not run Mox Diamonds.
They have mulch in the graveyard right now.
Oh, I take that back. I stand corrected. So this must be some kind of hybrid version, right? Or the earlier builds. But I know the more successful builds do not run what's it called, diamond.
Interesting. I think I like the mulch variants more than the traditional version.
It leans harder
Like,
into the to the metagaming, if that makes sense. What I mean by that is like you lose harder to combo, but you beat fair decks even harder.
if we're casting spells for 5 mana, I want to cast this a Vital Force. I'm just kidding. That's just old
Our
tech.
opponent has some interesting. I've seen more diamond in most than field in lands. Interesting. I didn't know that, Adam. Interesting. Is that recently or is that like a while ago? I'd be curious. I think here obviously we play the Wirewood. That's kind of a free roll, and then it depends if we want to hit the exploration or draw. I think on this board state, like we just like don't really care about exploration anymore, right?
Yeah,
Like
there's only one card in hand, and it's yeah. I just like give the extra draw here.
so, great question, Jay Z. It used to be, in my opinion, the worst matchup for the deck. I think it's gotten significantly better for two reasons. I think number one, obviously, the card in our hand, Boseiju helps a lot. And I think number two, we have learned to play against it better. I think the big level up for me in this matchup is boarding out Glimpse of Nature, especially against the traditional list where they have spheres and just like a million hate pieces. The biggest one, obviously, being Tabernacle. There's nothing a lands player loves more than destroying your lands.
Absolutely.
All right. I think here we have the kill.
Yeah, just green sun for 0, and then Cradle Natural.
Yeah. Obviously, who knows if they have Chasm or something random like that. But this does beat a maze.
I would expect Chasm out of the out of lands itself, but Mulch I think is just more all in on um, other lands.
Yeah. So
Yep,
I, like I said, I think this matchup, it used to be okay. Quick history lesson, I guess. In 2021, the matchup I really wanted to solve and eventually did was the Doomsday matchup, and that was because we had a good printing, right? Endurance, and we actually figured out how to play against the deck. I think lands is not flipped yet the way Doomsday has been flipped, but significantly better than before. Whereas lands, I really did not want to play against, like at the beginning of this year.
do I
That
think about Crop Chasm? Like I've seen it done against me several times, and it's frustrating when it happens.
hmm
If that's the question, if you're asking about putting Crop Chasm in our deck, I I'm not a fan.
Um. So Jay Z, I thought about it for a second for the mirror, but I think I'll let people in on an inside secret here. If I ever cared about playing the mirror, what I would do is just play one Tabernacle, and I'm just gonna rely I can outplay my elf opponent. That is the dark secret that I have. I have never employed it. Actually, I registered once, but it never came up. But if the mirror were a concern, I would just play one Tabernacle, and then it would be a skill intensive test, right? Like who can play through the Tabernacle better, and that is my my little secret if L's were ever an issue. Okay, what about
Yo,
Oak Street Innkeeper? That there's what's card.
yo, I literally just read this card for the first time ever, and like, what the heck?
What is this card? Oak Street Innkeeper.
Yo, this is tech. This is hot.
Oh wow, that's 3 mana though. Okay, what was I doing? Okay, I boarded out the glimpses, but they're on mulch, so they probably don't have spheres. I think I probably still keeping the glimpses that I poured out the visionary. All right, that is some.
All right, we're cutting the Force of Vigors for Oak Street Innkeepers next league.
We got the whole gang here, right? Romario's in chat, Mike's here, Decent. We even got Adam and Unbanned Mental Mystic. This is why we're playing Force of Vigor, right? To pitch the Progenitus. Did you ever take out the two assassins? Did you take out the two? Yes. Good question, Sigardian. That change was made, I want to say, like, I don't know, a month, maybe more ago. I don't remember exactly, but Ooh, this is
Feels like
gonna.
a while ago that the snuff outs were included.
Yeah, it was actually quite early on that we realized Snuff Out was insane. And the reason why we didn't play Snuff Out before is an obvious question, is because we needed the flexibility of Assassin's Trophy, but all that has changed now with the printing of Beseju. I think the Cradle is just too good not to take.
Also, Snuff Out actually saw a little bit of testing from Julian even back in like 2015 or 2016, but it wasn't quite. It didn't really end up sticking around because I think there were more prevalent black creatures back then.
Hmm. So great question, Decent. The reason why is it's hard to mana bond turn one. Usually it's like turn two where they or three even depending on their hand that they want to dump their hand. Yeah, I if they want to dump their hand turn one, I usually don't care. I think the line here is to bash because we're gonna force. Uh, it tells our opponent we have the force of vigor or something going on because we're not rotating for cradle. But okay, I think there is a chance they dump five here. I think we play it safe instead of getting greedy. Like they could have four, but we get screwed over if it's five. Nice. That is actually a really good draw. Yeah, that makes sense, Adam. So you would have waited there and took the chance. I feel like we already, attack with a reclaimer. Might as well, right? I think here we just like play everything. Honestly, I, if I could have designed a card that we needed, I don't even think it would have been as good as Boseiju. That's the scary part. If R&D let me design a card for Reclaimer. Sure.
At least we get to pull up Bayou or Dryad Arbor. Sorry. Totally forgot that we could pull up Dryad Arbor off that. You know, I haven't really been Besaju'd yet.
Oh, sure. That's fair, Adam. If they don't do anything, they're dead here. Yeah, Snuff Out is an insane card. All right, they're just dead. Actually, I don't want to announce things. We need to avoid drawing the card. But if we do, they are dead. Yeah, the UI is not great for sure. When I was trying to concoct it, ouch. I'm sorry to hear that. At least you can play in Legacy. So somewhere in the alternate timeline, Jonathan Zhang is crushing it in Legacy, and with his namesake card, Allosaurus Shepherd.
Yo, I remember the morning that I found out that Allosaurus Shepherd had been spoiled. It was like comparable to Christmas, honestly.
So little known. Actually, people know this already. I make fun of myself sometimes. I was the person who thought, oh, I only need to play one shepherd. That's good enough. And then I got approached by several people I trust saying, Newton, I think you need to play more of this card. Like you're probably winning despite not playing it as many copies as you should.
Nice little 3-2.
Yeah, I think we are okay with that. Actually, like honestly, I care more about the testing than the actual results for leagues. I used to be of the mind frame. Oh, I gotta get a 5-0 or whatnot. But like completely reverse stance on that because it's just like mentally draining and whatnot as well. Um, so great comment by Decent. So not only did I play one, Jurg and Josh. I think most people know who Jurg is. I don't think most people know who Josh is. They both also had a lot of success playing one. And to be honest, there is some benefit of only playing one because what ends up happening sometimes is you have these people who will blindly turn one, force your play, like, and then Shepard becomes kind of bad, right? Like I'm sure that's happened to you. Did we lose Curran?
No, no, yeah, it's definitely happened to me. Sorry, there was something. I, I'm here. I'm here.
You're all good. Okay, so I was getting ready to cut the force of vigor, but it was like quite good there. Obviously, there's a good chance we win that game anyway. But hard to say, right? Like, um,
Yeah,
our opponent
I,
did not seem to be keeping good hands, so to speak. Like, didn't seem like they were ever like they eventually got the other mana bond, and it was not in time, so to speak. I'll bring up the list we played and some of the available options, so to speak. Uh,
yeah,
I
there's
do
that.
think four is not a must. I know like a lot of people swear by gotta play four shepherds or whatever. Like I am not one of those people for whatever it's worth. And I know Jorg and Julian like their most recent top eights they only had three each as well. By playing that card is consumes all is a card I can appreciate. Even though I've been wrecked by that card, I'm glad to see at least some people try Grixis control again. But yeah, you can do cool things with Jace. You can do things with like Urian, of course. Yeah, the fourth one is reasonable. Since the Archon move is so subtle, but I think it's a big deal for this deck because you don't want to just randomly lose game ones because you drew the Archon. I actually think there's some merit now for the Progenitus main if you want to save a sideboard slot, and if if this feels like heresy to play two. Sorry, if it feels like heresy to only play one natural order target. But the reason why it kind of works is because Gris is a hell of a card against fair decks, and natural ordering for Gris is probably game it a lot of times as well. Or Collector Oof if they're combo, right? If you've lived that long somehow.
Yeah,
How
I
have you
completely
felt,
agree
Kieran,
with
with
that.
the move from Archon to the sideboard?
Yeah, I was gonna say that I feel like it has lightened up some of the clunkiness. Not like randomly drawing Archon, but I guess like Progenitus would have the same problem. Like if we moved it to the main, is like if you draw this card, it's just like oops, like
It does,
we're
but the argument for it now, I think, over Archon is in the matchups where Progenitus is relevant, you will actually get to time to cast it. Whereas game one, I looked at the numbers and so did Inigo, Rumcore, for those who don't know. The amount of cast times Archon wins a game one, for me at least, was the same as game two, despite it being boarded out like at least half the time. So what that tells me is when I have it in, it probably sticks game two. And that actually checks out too because game one we will typically lose the combo because we don't have Archon. We don't have the time to get to Archon because we don't have the discard or the whatever it is that we run, right? Mindbird Trap or whatever.
yeah, and also to answer the two hoof question, I feel like it's not necessary anymore because Allosaurus Shepherd is it's an entire win condition on its own. So it's not necessary to have a second hoof. Like if the first one, like it used to be, if the first hoof went badly in an older build, then yeah, we have the second hoof to like recover. But in this case, we just have Allosaurus Shepherd activation as a win condition.
So the other thing is, I want to shed some light on that too. Even ignoring Shepard for a second, I probably would have never played two hoofs ever again. And the reasoning also is because there's diminishing returns. What I mean by that is like I think just like similar to Stoneforge Mystic, you really want the diversity, even if Shepherd didn't exist. Like I've also had it where like my hoof got discarded or counter or wherever, right? And I've cobbled up to get. It's ugly, but I've cobbled up to get a win with just going wide, but like beat down. It's I know it sounds ugly and just like a very primitive thing to do, but it's been done and a thing that we don't need to do anymore. Thankfully, thanks to Shepherd. But I definitely think you get more value by just running the Archon or the Progenitus, right? Either way, I think that is still better than running the second hoof. With that said, I'm going to take a quick 1 minute or 2 minute break, and I will be right back. I'm going to refill on some water as well. If you, and Curran, the floor is yours if you want to field any questions from chat.
All right. I am here to field questions from chat while Newton goes and gets some water. David, my dude, what, what up? Yo, I'm coming to Richmond. I'm already making plans. I've got somebody on the line to split a hotel room with me. We are mobbing as far as I'm concerned in October. I am already looking at flights and everything. I'm not canceling out of this one. I actually have somebody hard committed, so. My Twitter is Testacular7, and I am an Elves warrior of the Moto plane. I've been playing Elves since 2012. A little bit about me, I guess. I've been playing Magic the Gathering since 2010. I got into Standard very fast after learning the basics of the game, and then I got really tired of rotating through Standard decks, and so I learned about Legacy, where it's like, hey, you can commit to a deck and stick with it. And I'm like, yeah, I like that idea a lot. And I started out as a Stoneblade player for about 2 weeks, and then I cut that, and then I turned into a bug control deck with no creatures. It was like a bug standstill planeswalker win list. And then after that, I sold out temporarily because I was jobless, and then I got a job because I was coming out of high school. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to reinvest in something, and I want to learn something degenerate. And I chose elves because I liked the idea of being a creature-based combo deck, and I just committed to learning, and I fell in love with the play patterns very early on. And I read the primer written by Daniel on the source, Daniel Wen, kind of retired now elves player. I haven't seen him around in so long. He actually lives 3 hours north of me in Seattle somewhere. But yeah, I and history wrote itself. I've been playing elves since like 2012. So I wish I had screen sharing options to put cards in Newton's deck. Yeah, Daniel is great people. He taught me a lot just by writing that primer. I took that primer to heart. So on MTG The Source, if y'all remember that place. Yeah, it's really cool having this small knit, like, of players that have just been loyal to the deck forever. Newton's been on it for a while. I don't know exactly when did your career start? Did you come back?
Yeah, I just wait. Say that again.
We were just talking about like a little bit of deep history of elves players. I was gonna ask you when like your career started on Legacy Elves.
I think there's probably two demarcations. Um, I think the first one is probably when I got into back into Magic in general, and I want to say that was like roughly 2013-ish area, or 2012 maybe. Whenever the original Precon Commander sets came out, believe it or not, I was like a full blown casual trying to. Actually, the funny thing about that is I didn't have any expensive cards at the time, so I had this makeshift mana base, and I had the cool idea. Oh, what if I played Amulet of Vigor with these bounce lands? That's kind of a cool interaction. And lo and behold, like a few years later, that's like a modern tier one deck, right? And kind of a cool thing that I think about when I got back into Magic. And then officially, I bought my Elves deck. GP After GP Denver when Channel Fireball did well within top eight with the, I would say the modern legacy version of Elves with Deathrite Shaman, Natural Order for Hoof. Essentially, the first shell of the current modern day list was born. And then I think the other demarcation was in 20, I want to say 19 or so, around that time. I started playing more Magic Online Elves. I think I bought into Magic Online 2018, right before Deathrite Shaman got banned, but I didn't play too much. And then started really becoming a better player, I would say around 2019 or so.
So it's funny you bring up GP Denver. That was my first Legacy GP main event. But I didn't play I wasn't on Elves for that. I was on the Jund list, not
Ah,
Punishing Jund, but just the Jund deck that Pat Cox actually ended up taking all the way to second place in that event.
oh yeah, yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about because the guy who won that event, Vidianto, actually goes to my LGS, so I know him pretty well.
Nice, yeah. GP Denver was a total blast.
All right, let's see some other. Did I miss anything in chat? Let's see. I see Mike trying to sneak obscure cards into my deck. Unfortunately, Kieran has no control over my desktop at the moment, as far as I know.
True. That finals, the lingering soul token that could, man. Let's go.
Okay, so I have a story on that. To this day, VD still refuses to sign lingering soul tokens, even including mine. So I need to get him to change that. I have a whole bunch of lingering souls tokens. I want him to sign. He will not sign it. I love the Nykthos. Believe it or not, I have not tried it, but I have thought about it. It seems like win more though, because how many times are you losing with an active Cradle?
I have put thought into Nykthos as well. I think every Elves player has been like, it's kind of Gaia's Cradle, right? Like a little bit.
The problem is if you draw it and it doesn't do anything. I'm surprised the modern version doesn't run it. Maybe it does. I don't know what the modern version looks like.
We would need to run for the Visionary. That's the double green one. Multani's Acolyte,
I don't think that's
right?
legal in
No,
modern
not
though.
Acolyte. I don't remember the name of this card.
Okay, so quick question. I'd be remiss to not give Force of Vigor the credit it deserved. It did kill the Sphere of Resistance for whatever that's worth. That is I forgot to mention that, but I remembered that as I was using the restroom. With that said, okay, how do we? What should we play the same list back, or should we now just like YOLO and just put like two Mind Break traps?
I'm also wondering, do you want to try fourth Once Upon a Time or second Birchlore Rangers too? I don't know. Like get real crazy with the testing tubes.
Say that again. The fourth Once Upon a Time instead of what?
Like over the second endurance, right? Like we were debating that spot for a minute, weren't we? Like when we ended up cutting the Archon.
We did. I think there's one issue with that, and maybe it's not that big an issue. And you can probably guess what it is. We would be one cyborg slot short, essentially. But
Right.
maybe that is okay. Um, Once Upon a Time is like a half sideboard card because it can find the Endurance when we need it, find the Shepherd, or find the Reclaimer, whatever it may be. Um, Obviously, like you can tinker with the Allosaur Shepherd being the second burst or two, but I think I don't want to constrain myself on power level. So, all things even, I would like to keep the Shepherd for now at least. But there is some merit for playing the second burst Lord over it. I'm trying to think if it would have mattered in any of the games. I feel like maybe we should do that and just like clean up our mana a little bit, especially if we don't play the fourth Once Upon a Time. What do you think?
Uh,
I know you
wait,
are
wait,
very
wait.
against cutting any shepherds.
I know, like, just based on how broken that card is, I don't like it. But I'm here because you're in the driver's seat. I'm just here to test and play games with you. So if you're down to do it, I will go along with it.
Okay, let's see. What did we lose to? We lost to ACAS. I think that's an anomaly. We did lose. I think this is a real concern though. The red stompy list, and looking at this list, Shepard helps there for sure. So the endurance versus Archon. Honestly, let's see.
Yeah, so David's suggesting just cutting a force of vigor, moving an endurance over there. No, yeah, cutting a force of vigor, moving an endurance over there, and running the fourth OUAT.
I can get down with that too. The reason why I didn't do that before was because you lose the cyborg slot, but maybe that is okay because I mean I know Mike beats me every time I play against Mike when he's on Storm, but I have been beating the other Storm players, so maybe that is okay. And then we can go down to one force. Uh, I
Yeah,
def
and then yeah,
Go ahead.
and then add forth once upon a time is the last part,
It
right?
does make ourselves better against the random things like the random creature decks like DNT or whatnot. So I can get down with that. The way it maps against DNT right now, we board out one Bog, we board out one Endurance, and we board out I guess one Shepherd, and then that's three. And we add the Progenitus, the Force of Vigor, the Snuff Out, and then we can board out one Shepherd. I kind of well actually no, that's we board out one, two. We only had two slots to board, so is that overkill against DNT? I feel like it kind of is.
Uh, Sometimes I just cut in Visionary because I think it's a pretty not very strong card in the matchup. Like
Against
if
DNT?
you're concerned about cutting second Shepherd,
Wait, which matchup?
the D&T matchup, right? Uh, so if you board out the Bog, the Endurance, and then two Shepherd, that's enough, right?
Well, in this scenario, we would be playing the fourth once, right? Like, so really, right now we only have two cards to board out that are must, which is the Bog and the Endurance, which are really bad. Um, I feel like in this scenario we have too many cards to. Well, not too many, but it's just like more than. I want to do the bare minimum essentially against DNT.
I mean, what cutting two Shepherds is fine though, right? Like as the other two cuts, just because they're not very good cards in the matchup.
That's fair. So, great question by Mike. Should we be cutting the oof? The reason why that one is not cut and Archon is twofold. One, we can actually cast it. We can't really cast Archon for the most part. Number two, game one at least, it is more likely that we get a chance against the combo decks to Green Sun for two than to Natural Order on turn three. Like we're dead usually by turn three. Again, like especially if the combo player knows you're on elves, like they are just gonna mull for a fast hand. That's one of the issues I think with not having Force of Will in the deck. Um, it's not obviously a deal breaker, but it is annoying.
If I could add to that as well, Collector Rufy's ground is Grizzly Bears, right? Like worst case scenario, we're paying 2 mana for a 2/2, which is an additional body to Cradle count, or another target, or another sacrificial lamb for Natural Order.
or draws a ball, draws like the reason why we don't play Caracas, for instance, main is for that same reason, right? It's because the floor on a creature is so much higher in this kind of deck. So I will go ahead and add the fourth once, I guess, right now, and see how I like that.
Yeah, let's test it out. Why not? Should be
Okay,
a lot of fun.
I will put the BRB here and then make the trade.
It's BRB time.
Sorry, chat. I will. You will see the "Be Right Back" screen for the next minute or so.
To answer AWOL Wally in chat, to go over, kind of going back to the original discussion of having second hoof at all, there's no real reason because, again, Shepherd is in itself another win condition that we didn't previously have access to when we ran two hooves. And then also, post board, you want to kind of diversify your natural order threats by including Progenitus against the fair decks and Archon against the unfair decks, if that makes sense. The Carpet of Flowers is there to assist the mana war that we need to go into versus Blue-Red Delver, since we have so many 3-drops and 4-drops we want to resolve in Green Sun Zeniths, Endurances, Grists, and Erastas. Carpet of Flowers helps accelerate us without being removable by Blue-Red Delver. One is a little bit awkward, but two also would feel like a lot, honestly, when we could do more with our sideboard.
So
So it's
one
just kind of there.
so one unexpected circumstance of playing the fourth once upon a time is we suddenly would only have we suddenly have one less card that we need to board out. So the carpet would be the sacrificial lamb here, right? Like, because it'd be 4 plus 1, that's five. One, two, three, four, five, and the other five I consider a must. So that kind of means we get to do that anyways, which is kind of cool actually.
Oh, yeah, that works.
But grabbing Archon game 1 when it's useless is useless. So yeah, I think it depends. If we are okay with this against Delver, right? It's 5 in, 5 out. The Eternal Weekend, which is the hallmark elves big event that we did well at, it was 6 in, 6 out, which is 3 endurance, 3 trophies at the time is what I always look back to because it's like we know that was a thing that worked because it wasn't just me and Yorick who did it. Also, PVDR also top aided that Eternal Weekend event with essentially the same list, and that is kind of like what I look back on when I feel like I need to go back to the drawing board, for instance, for elves. I know other people have this for other decks where like you kind of have this. Um, I guess it's kind of like when you write an article, right, or an essay in school. You click save and you know that version is like at least decent. Hopefully that makes sense. Not the best analogy I know. Y'all are free to tag me into if you like, but no worries. Talking is just faster type. All right. Okay. So this also actually will make Mike happy because it's no longer a one up too, right? Actually, what we can do is play the foiled version, which I traded for. Where is it? Oh, great.
Oh yeah, you want to keep track of this? Like, what do you? So when you see the foil Once Upon a Time, are you imagining it as like an endurance or a Birchler Rangers, all of the above? Like,
It could be whatever. I honestly think there's like some argument this is just straight up correct too because this card is so powerful. But we'll run it like and conveniently we just don't have to run the carpet now, right? Like it just kind of maps well too. Still, we gotta keep the force of vigors. Argument to be made. We try to punish some Storm players and play Mindbreak Trap, but I think I think we should give Force of Vigor one more lead. How about that?
Yeah, I'm on board.
Like I was ready to cut it, and then you know it it kind of won us the last game to be. If I'm being fair, right? Like we didn't draw it. It was kind of awkward against the Moon Stompy, but sometimes that happens against that matchup. But it did kill the sphere that helped us unlock our mana for whatever that's worth. And it has some combo applications against like Sneak or whatever. Okay, Romario said it, so it must happen, right?
Romario is well ahead
No,
of 5-0 runs.
the 5-0 is already dead.
No, no, no! Don't say that.
I'm
Oh,
sorry, the
Tony,
5-0 is already dead.
Tony. No, we have the oof, dude. We got this.
We do, but we're not gonna get a second turn. This is one of the matches that's unwinnable. Unfortunately, this is the type of matchup you need Mind Break Trap for.
Basic planes. Basic planes.
Oh no.
Oh my
We
god.
have Force of Vigor. Okay, I mean that's something at least. All right. Sad times. I'm gonna F6. We're not getting another turn though. I don't think. Tony's a cool guy. He's rated me a few times, so I gotta respect that and like appreciate him. But he's definitely won this matchup a lot against me. This matchup is near unwinnable.
He's a bully.
At least he raids me, so that's okay. I'll forgive Tony. And then I'm just doing the courtesy because obviously I'm not playing Mindbreak Trap or anything game one, right? I'm pretty sure we're dead. I don't think I've ever lived with Burgie, active, so to speak. Depending on, I don't know how popular this list is, but it's definitely the worst matchup I think for us.
This is just unfortunate.
Yeah, that's right. Decent. Oops, I was just gonna save them time.
All right, we're on the play, and we have duresses and thought seizes.
I feel like
Let's
this
go.
matchup is so bad. Actually, if I didn't have the Force of Vigor, I'd be tempted to just board in the Snuff Outs.
Just to get a Bergie, I love it.
Desperate times calls for desperate measures. What do you think, Mike? Mike is the resident Storm expert here. I would defer to Mike. Do we try to cheese a win with Snuff out here? The rest is pretty obvious, I think. Actually, yeah. I think it's uh, probably, yeah. I think you just try to cheese a win. This matchup's bad enough.
Any hedge we can get is a good hedge.
I
Let's
know, right?
go.
It is the hardest matchup, in my opinion, right now for us. Sure.
Snap keep,
Snap keep.
baby.
I'm not even hesitating. I
Yo,
see a
let's go.
Bayou.
Wrecked.
Oh my god.
Oh, why do they have everything? Why do they have everything?
Why must it... Alright,
I think it's Reckless Impulse, right? That's their draw spell.
well, Burgie... Oh my god.
Oh god, if they get the horned side down, you're
Actually, the
right.
horn is okay. We can get oof.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. So probably Impulse, right? That's got to be their best action. I don't think we're stunting on their mana.
Alright. Actually, but they can get turn one horn is the problem.
Well, yeah, but if they go turn one horn, they're hellbent, right? They don't have any gas.
Okay, so they can go.
It would
They can go
literally
turn one
require all
horn. Wait, see, this is
their.
one mana, two, three, four, five. They can go turn one horn and be one card.
Well, we're taking a card with Thoughtseize, so
Alright,
they
Twitch
would have.
chat has spoken, so we are going with Impulse. And we are
Yeah,
hoping the collector oof goes the distance. It'll be a turn
yeah.
three oof, but we are hoping the turn three oof goes the distance. Oh, for now, Awali. For now. Alright, so they go for the Burgie, I guess, turn one.
Uh, I don't know. This is kind
They
of
oh my god,
weird.
don't tell me they have turn one Burgie plus turn one horn. That's pretty
Oh, it's
bad.
golf. Okay.
Well, let's see. What did they exile? Oh my god. I think we're just dead.
Yikes.
Well, okay, this line here will. Ugh. Yeah, so that's part of it too, right? I think certain players will just draw very well against you. I know I draw insane against some players, and Tony draws very well against me. So I guess that's like kind of even, right? I think we go ramp here because they're probably gonna
Yeah,
wheel, huh?
yeah, yeah.
I'm almost certain they're gonna wheel. And so Wally used to draw very well against me, so it's okay. I don't mind losing this match. This is the one matchup I just am okay just losing. Like unless we play trap and we didn't even draw it right. Like we definitely keep that hand and they just had a hand that was resilient against our one discard spell. And they drew the relay. That definitely helps.
Absolutely
Oh my
nuts.
god, they're gonna peer. Yeah. All right, we're gonna scoop it up. We're dead.
Yeah.
There's no way they're whiffing, right?
That not in my experience.
we're, I've never had somebody whiff against me. I'll save chat the time. There goes the 5-0 dream.
Yeah, I'm here to wreck those dreams.
It's okay. I can never beat Tony. It's just the matchup I am okay losing. We can beat lands these days, but you can't get nothing for. I'm sorry, you can't get something for nothing. And I made a deal with Gristlebrand. Essentially, I said, all right, can I win the lands matchup now? If you grant me this, I will accept pairing into Tony Scapone more often. And the deal was made. Like we beat Lance more now, but we pair into Tony more.
and the other tag warriors of the Moto Plains.
So the funny thing is, I think my record against the other tag players is actually okay, all things considered. It's probably still lower than 50%, but I think it's probably got to be at least, I don't know, 30 to 40% or something, which is, bad, but not horrendous. I think against Tony, it's probably like below 10%. I can't imagine I beat him more than one time in the last 10 tries. That's hilarious, Ivo Minikowski. All right, we shall see if we can make up for that.
We got this. We got this.
These duresses would have looked nice as the trap, but to be fair, I would have kept that anyways, and still would have lost, right? Like we had the Thoughtseize there, and I think the higher floor is probably still worth it of the duress. We just accept losing to that matchup. Bacon, lettuce, tomato. This user sounds familiar. I don't remember what they're on though. I feel like it's Reanimator.